Welcome to Mo2. We're two coaches who have always said we offer tips on life choices, and now we're wondering if that's what we do. So this conversation is about that, defining what it is we want to do from now on, at least for the foreseeable future. So we've just been having this conversation, and one of the things that came up was ideas about illusions of safety and what do we want to move toward? What's way more interesting than illusions of safety? Is it fulfillment and freedom? And that's where we are at the beginning of this conversation. So we have not planned anything. We're just winging it. So over to you, Mo.
Okay. Oh my gosh. On the wings, eh? We will wing it. It just gave me this sense of freedom and flying. And when I think of our conversations and our videos on Mo2, that often we're talking about what's happening in our everyday lives and or experiences that we're having. And in sharing, it feels like there's this sense of something expanding. And so there's a sense of freedom. But I'm also thinking of the ability to be a creator of our lives as well.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, which often can lead to a deeper sense of fulfillment.
Yeah, when we're actually the engineer of our lives and deciding where and how and when we want to do things or and how we want to be, it's very empowering, isn't it? And there's something about trust. And when I was just, as you were talking, I was reflecting on why did we begin these videos anyway? And one of the things that popped into mind was we wanted to get over our own fears of launching something into onto the internet that involves spontaneity. And because we generally don't plan these videos, we just wing it. And so the concept of trusting ourselves, that we will give what we need to ourselves, and at the same time trusting a partner to be someone that we can have a dynamic with and interact with in ways that are going to be synergistic or opening, perhaps, so that the discussion becomes richer because we have different points of view.
Yes, and as you were talking, Maureen, thank you for that. That the trust in each other. It's like we have each other's backs, and that's what is part of this life of being human, is knowing who we can really count on, that can help lift us up when we're needing a little extra support in being lifted up, and who can hold us up. I saw that there's an exercise that sometimes is done in I can't even remember, leadership, different personal development, where you're together with somebody and you do this, you kind of fall back and somebody's there to catch you. And that's kind of what I think of you and I in our conversations, is we're there to support each other, and because we also know that when we're having a conversation and those different ideas or different points of view, it helps to expand our own thinking and does create that richness.
Well, and I would add that part of what we're doing is opening a space where it's I'm not necessarily asking you to support me in that moment. I'm asking you to give me space that allows me to support myself, as well as you to provide a container for that to happen. So it's not always oh, I'm struggling, I need somebody to lift me up. It's often, oh, I'm struggling, I'm not seeing something and I need to see it differently. And that other person's perspective, or even that little nudge, can be super helpful to go, oh, right, I wasn't looking at it that way.
Yes, and it's also makes me think of like holding the space and being able to have the conversation or share in a space that is non-judgmental, that is just open to really listening and hearing. It allows that to emerge and be expressed through you, the different perspectives sometimes that gets kind of lodged when we're lodged in us or stuck in us when we're not able to express it. And so it's really helpful to
Well,
have. Mhm. Go
yeah,
ahead.
and so often where people get stuck in a particular spot, whatever it is. I'm stuck in my thought, I'm stuck in my perspective, I'm stuck in my ways of behaving, or the way I look at my life, or the fact that I'm not really leading my own life. I'm following something, but it's not me leading my life. And those are all kind of stuck points, right? And so if we were to ask ourselves what it is that we want when we are in those stuck points, oftentimes it's about moving onto a path of fulfillment and freedom to be who I want to be, and to go where I want to go, and to, if I want to get to a goal, to achieve that goal. And the stuck points are often these illusions of safety, because that might be dangerous, this might be risky, this is the way it's always done. There's all sorts of rhetoric that goes on to keep us safe, um, but it's an illusion, because what is safety?
What is safety? It's, yeah, just right as you said that, it just feels like something that's kind of closing in around me. It's almost like a blanket or something just being swaddled. And it's also the familiar. Like, don't take a risk because you don't know what the outcome is going to be. So there's a sense of urgency for certainty. And so in living life on a path of fulfillment and freedom, it does take often immense amounts of courage, and it takes some internal reflection. What is it that's really important to me? And how do I even know this is what I want, especially when we have been living our lives trying to fulfill the expectations that I think I need to be fulfilling. So it can get complicated and convoluted and controversial.
Well, so what you just brought up is the concept of being other focused, right? It's like I'm very focused on what other people expect of me, what society expects of me, whether I'm meeting these various rules, et cetera, right? And but it's not internally focused, as in, what do I really want? And I remember the first time I spoke with a coach, and the question was, what's the goal of coaching? And I had tremendous difficulty answering that question. And I realized in that moment, I knew what I didn't want, but I didn't know what I wanted. And it's so, so common. I'm stuck, but I don't know what I want. So how do you aim for what you don't know? And that's part of moving on the path, is having the guts to step in a different direction, and then to see what happens and know that you're nimble enough that you can move again.
Yeah, I love that. That being nimble enough to move again just really just gave me this sense of ease and enjoyment and actually playfulness. And so a place to start is, especially if you don't know where you want to be going, is to go, what is it that I don't want? And that can often lead to the side of what you do want and what I do want.
Well, and you could list what you don't want, but then what ends up happening is, if you try and translate that into what you do want, you might have some trouble, but it's a good exercise to do, right?
Yeah.
So just like us in this moment, we don't quite know where we're going, but we just took a step towards something about moving through illusions of safety and moving toward fulfillment and freedom. Do we know if that's really what we want? No. But that doesn't matter, because what's important is that we move, and then we reassess, and we know that we can make another move. And so until next time,
Thank you for being here. And Maureen,
if
how
you'd like more information on what I'm up to, maureenmayhew.com is where you can find that.
and for me, Caley-Verdonk.com.
Have a wonderful day.
See you again.